I wanted to update some things about. I put my glasses on, I can't see. That I know you're going to ask about, and that's about the health of some of our players. Garrett Steffen is out for the season, so you know, and so is Mason King. They will be done for the season. Both are having season-ending surgeries, and Steffen's already had his. So both those two players are out. Amir Abdullah will be week to week. Be a while, but be week to week. We'll know more on Hunter Zambrano probably early next week, but he will not play this weekend. So there you have it. Is that everybody?
So, Coach, could
yes.
you give us a quick statement about Western and what do you expect to see? And it's always a tough battle.
Well, it's a very, it's a rivalry game, and anytime you get involved in rivalry games, you can throw everything out the window for that matter. It doesn't matter what you want to talk about. It's not relevant. The game is totally different. I think this team is vastly improved. I know they've played two very tough opponents. The first opponent they lost to was I told our players that was a team that just beat Notre Dame in Notre Dame Stadium, and I can tell you from being in Notre Dame Stadium a lot, that is very, very, very difficult. And we did it one time that I can remember, and we were very close on several others, but it's a tough place to win. And Drew Brees didn't get it done. So if that gives you – so they played a really tough opponent. They played an undefeated Big Ten team, and so and I told them we played a 1-1 Big Ten team. So they played a very good very good football team. So do not look at the scores, and it's do not do that. That will be a serious mistake by our fans, by our players, by our coaches. We should not look at the scores of those games, and because those are tough games. So what I see on tape is a team that's vastly improved, particularly on offense, and they can move the football. They move the football against all their opponents, and they have weapons. They're much better than they were a year ago, in my opinion, and I think they're going in the right direction with Joe there, and it looks very, very different, I would say. That's what we're up against, and we totally understand that, and we look forward to the challenge. They're always a very challenging team to play for us. So as we move forward, but good players, good coaches, and a vastly improved team. Don't look at the scores.
Throwing the ball pretty well, aren't they, Coach?
Very well.
Yes,
Very well. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a little 3-by-1 set with some seams.
You think?
I shouldn't say that.
Might. Yeah, we probably will. Yeah, they're
We all copy.
they're very good. Yeah, they're good throwing the football. So we'll have to develop a pass rush and hopefully cover better than we did Saturday night. We didn't cover very well. So what I thought was really good against Iowa was not very good against Northern Iowa. We cut guys loose, and that cannot happen. That means guys' eyes, as you know, Ted, guys' eyes are in the wrong spot, and that's usually on the quarterback, and wide receivers are running right by him. And for the life of me, I don't know how a player does that, but they do, and we did. So we try and get that corrected, but they'll be very good, and so don't expect anything less than that. Yes, sir.
You guys obviously had some cramping, some injuries that occurred on Saturday as well.
One cramp was in one player. Yeah.
It was,
And Tommy has diabetes.
right.
And so that's why that happens.
It was a game North Alabama team, though, that fought to the very end. You guys still got out of there with a road win in a tough environment. How much have you seen your team bounce back this week from at least having a little bit of confidence being able to go win on the road?
I don't know how much confidence they had this morning. Coach Spack was on everybody's ass, and so it was a gritty day. Let's call it that. And I think I told them in the locker room, and you weren't in there. Obviously, you were in the press box still. But I told them in the locker room, don't ever measure or put us asterisk by a win. When you win a major college football game, you should be very proud of that. And we did enough, like you said, we did enough to win the game. There were some tipping points in that game that we were ready to explode, and it never happened. And right away, early in the first half, the snap that was a fumble, that would have been a big play in the game. Then we come back and they go on and score in that series. But we gave up the seam route. We had them in 3rd and long multiple times and let them off the hook. So we had a chance to go up 21-3 at halftime, or at least a field goal. It would have been 17, right? Is that correct?
Yes.
It would have been 17. And either way, and we throw an interception in the end zone, which is inexcusable. And so particularly in that play, that's an inexcusable play. So those are things that were really there were tipping points in the game that we could have blown that game open, but we never did. But I told them in the locker room, maybe at the end of the season, probably will. At the end of the season, we'll be very happy that happened to us, because I don't know what would happen if we would have blown them out and not played well. Does that make sense? So yeah, I think we needed to be in a game. Okay, here's when you make mistakes like this is what happens. And North Alabama was good enough to capitalize on our mistakes and made the game interesting down the end. And then we missed a field goal late there in the fourth that would have separated us by 2 as well, by 2 scores, and we didn't get that done. So we had to make everything turn into a sweating. Everybody's in a hot sweat at the end of the game, but that's good. In my opinion, that right now is what this team needs, in my opinion, and this team needs that, and. Every team needs. We have, quite some guys that are back with, and we still have a very young team. I mean, I keep saying that, but we still have a very, very young team, and most of this team is back again next year. So we lose a couple offensive line, but other than that, most everybody's back again next year. So it shows you that we're still very young, and we have to learn how to win. You learn how to win every year. You have to reteach yourself how to win every year, and we started to learn that, and we just didn't finish the game the way we should have. And but I shouldn't say that, because we did finish the game by not letting them score, and we ran the clock out and did some things very well to win the game. But by no means, I told the team on Saturday in the locker room, we'll worry about the details on Sunday, which we got to the details on Sunday, and that wasn't very pleasant. There are things we saw we did not like. And neither do our players like. So if you guys want to be a championship team, you can't do this, this, and this, and this. And we were fortunate enough to win the game. We were good enough to win the game and go from there. As I've said before, and I told them this, I said, good teams find a way to win when they don't play well. All right? Good teams win close games, particularly on the road. And I keep going back to 2014. The Indiana State game. I mean, in the Western Illinois game, we kicked both games. We kicked field goals with no time left to win them, and it was, and we were actually an outstanding football team that year, and we got rolling in the playoffs, which towards the end of the season we got better and better and better, and all of a sudden. When we had to go back to those games and win on the road, we already done that in a tough environment. So I think in the long run, it's a long answer to your question. We may look back on Saturday night thinking, that's the best thing that happened to us, and I really do think that today. I think our team learns more from that than winning by 2-3 touchdowns, whatever. So, but.
You have a lot of offensive linemen and running backs look awful good, Coach. No matter who you had in there, they all played well. It appeared that way from the game by going
It appeared that way, but it wasn't.
film.
Your eyes are lying to you a little bit. No. There's some linemen that played very well, and that's absolutely true. There's some linemen that got to get their game going and got to play better. It's just that simple. We ran the ball well. We did. Our backs, Winkers had a very good night. I thought Glass ran it really hard. He lost the fumble. It looked like the helmet got put on the ball, but he was carrying it in a way that needed to be carried a little differently, okay, where the helmet wouldn't have caused that. And he knows that, and Coach Ojiri has addressed that with him, and that wouldn't have happened had it been put in the right spot. He wouldn't have lost that. Man, that's just, he hasn't played a ton yet here, but that was his kind of game, and these Missouri Valley games are his kind of games, and he's a tough downhill runner, and he can catch the ball pretty well, and he's good in protection. He does good things. He's a good back, and made him. He just carried the ball in the wrong spot, and bam, put the helmet right on the ball, and the ball came squirting out. So we can't do that. And obviously, Tommy's interception in the end zone. That was not very good on his part, but he knows that. We all know that. We're going to move on, but there were some good things in that game, and the running game was one of them. And that was one of our goals. We wanted to reestablish our physical running game, our physicality. I wanted them to feel us, and I think we got that done. The first drive, I took the ball for that reason. I wanted to establish the running game, and they responded to that. They went down and scored right away. Thank God we did, right? And we had a lead the whole game. We never lost the lead, and that's the good news through all this. But yes, everything in between. There's a lot of things to get better at. Let's put it that way. We're working hard at that for sure. Good questions.
Right.
What else?
Do you expect to go back to alternating the two quarterbacks, or would you like to avoid playing Rubley again and have Rittenhouse go most of the game?
No, we'll play Rubley. We felt Rubley had to play in this game because of the situation. We put the young freshman in for a series just to kind of let Tommy get his breath, and he was fine. But we wanted to send him a message. You can't make those kind of decisions and put yourself and our team in jeopardy. So, we wanted to send him a message, and he came back and had a great run and did some nice things and made some nice throws and did some good things. What Jake did, in my opinion, and I forgot to really tell you about this. What I thought was good is he managed the game very well when he came in the ball game. We could not afford a turnover there. And we had good field position, and Tommy was the one having cramping, and there's a reason for that. It's not conditioning.
Right.
It's because he has a condition that causes that sometimes. But we just had to get Jake's experience in there, and he went in and calmed everything down, and he did a good job. And wouldn't you know, the first play we play, they bring a corner blitz, and it's to his backside. I said, "Oh my God, he's going to hit this kid right in the left, shoulder, and this is going to be it." And he felt him. He did a nice job avoiding him. So he showed off he is a better athlete maybe than people think he is. He's a good athlete. He ran well. He ran away from pressure and threw the ball away. That was a big play. Not taking a sack. It could have been a fumble hit. You never know what happens when your back's the ball, but he did a good job of avoiding that and throwing the ball out of bounds. We kicked the field goal, and it all was good. And we got points out of it. So that was incredibly important. And then he came back in the game and had to get us in the right calls, and he did some really nice things. They shifted in and shifted out once, and so he checked in and checked out of the play. And he had to call timeout. Sometimes that happens, but he's smart. He called timeout, and he settled the team down and came to the side. And that's what you expect. That's all we needed from him in that game. We didn't need his golden arm. He has a great arm, but we didn't need that in that game because of we were protecting a lead. I think this week will be different. I think he'll be back, and I know he will be. He's doing very well. His pain is very minimal, and he's much better. So I suspect by the end of the week he'll be almost 100%. So he looks very good right now. So he'll be much more involved. Yes, to answer your question.
First time in decades, ISU will not be playing a conference game against Western. Does it seem a little odd to you as you're prepared for this one? I know the rivalry is still going to be intense, but
I keep thinking this is a conference game, but it isn't. that was the good news about when that came out. I think their athletic director called our athletic director and said, "Hey, we still want to play. Is that okay?" And I said, "Yeah, we want to play." That's well, but good for both our schools. It's great for us and Eastern too. I mean, it saves us a plane trip, having to go get another game. That's a plane trip or whatever. It costs you a lot of money to play. It's very, very convenient, and it keeps our rivalry open and that's the fun of playing college football, and especially in the state of Illinois at FCS level. The Eastern, Western, Illinois State, Southern Illinois, that little quad there is it's always been fun to play, and it allows us all to do that. And I don't know if we can all play each other, but it'd be cool if we could. But
You tried it, and you wanted to get Northern every year too, didn't you?
yeah, I'd love to get Northern every year. It'd be fun. Yeah, just because it's it'll be all of us. Yeah, all the schools and.
You got it coming in a couple of years, next year.
I just know about this year. I can't really remember.
I'm sorry, Coach.
27.
Yeah.
27.
Okay,
Yeah.
Willie, thanks.
Yeah.
Has there been much talk, it seems like lately, in the past few games, I mean, I know they play it tough all the time, but it seems like there's just this extra incentive that Western has not been as good lately as Illinois State, and their guys seem to bring an extra level of intensity to this game.
Yeah.
Answer my question.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of answered it. So it's correct. And, we have two players from Western Illinois that are here. And they can tell you, and I sat in the locker room that you're going to play next week. I can tell you it's no different now than it was 30-some years ago when I was down there. I mean, they do not like any of us. They don't like the students. They don't like anybody up here. And it's just the way it is. And this is, I don't think this game's any different. For some reason, we bring out the worst in everybody. So, what can you say?
Too good looking, I guess.
I don't know. We try to be nice, but I don't know what it is. But everybody hates us, but that's okay. But it's a rivalry game, so it'll be fun. So that's why we play football, college football. Any other questions?
What have you thought about Mitch Bartle's performance?
He's been really solid.
Is he kind of being that next tight end guy who's a good outlet for you?
He looks like it right now. There's a couple other guys that are getting healthier that I think are maybe a tad better route runners that are H fullback tight end types. Mitch is he's a very physical player. He's an excellent blocker. He's the best at that of our group. He's very, very physical, and he has done a good job in the passing game. He's even exceeded my expectations of him. He's got very, very good hands. Are dependable. I think his hands, I call them dependable hands, and he finds a way to get open, and he's a load in an open field. He's a bigger guy. He's again between a tight end H kind of body, fullback, and he's just solid, thick, big linebacker type guy, and he's hard to tackle because he's strong, tough. Comes from an unbelievable high school program in Wisconsin, really good. So that'll be, but yeah, he's done a really nice job for us. So
You talked about working on a pass rush going into this one, or finding one.
well, we've worked on it every day since we started practice back in July 31st.
More of a personnel or a scheme aspect of what you want?
No, it's not schematics. It's just finding the right combination of guys and getting them better. And there are a lot of young guys in there and that haven't played a lot of snaps of college football, but like where they're at. Stefan was he was a really good pass rusher. That kind of hurts us. And we've been, what's that? Amir is the best pass rusher, maybe in the league. He was a runner-up to Defensive Player of the Year last year because of his pass rush ability. So, yeah, so you lose two guys like that, and that's really hurt. So we're just trying to make up for that right now. So I would say you answer the question, it would be personnel.
Personnel.
Yeah, getting the right four guys, whoever.
Anything else, Coach?
Did it? Thank you. Thank you very much. Yep.